Michael Schur here at TYT, going over some of the issues in this campaign. We've talked about a few of them. We're going candidate by candidate, Republican and Democrat. Donald Trump now on the issue of voting and civil rights. Donald Trump has talked incessantly, especially in the winter of this general election, in the waning days of this campaign, about the vote being rigged, about how the vote is problematic here in this country, not for reasons typically seen when people complain about voter fraud. It's usually Republicans complaining that Democrats are trying to create or perpetrate voter fraud because of the fact that they want to relax voter ID and increase access to the polls. What Donald Trump has said is no, the whole thing is rigged. He wants to, when it comes to the vote, do things very differently than his opponent. On the idea of same-day voter registration, he wants that done away with, meaning that there is an element of the way he looks at voters as fraudulent when they get to the polls, that doing so increases fraud. Voter fraud, as we know on record, there's not a whole lot of it. As a matter of fact, at this point in this election, there's been one arrest for voter fraud. It was a woman in Iowa, a Trump supporter who was arrested for voting twice by mail. So there are very, very scant incidences of voter fraud, and Donald Trump wants to say no, we cannot have same-day voter registration because that's just going to make more fraud. What he also wants to do is he's advocating in this election, because of the way he's saying that the vote is rigged, he's actually advocating intimidation at the polls. So you have one side in this election that is trying to protect the Voting Rights Act. You have the work of people like John Lewis, a member of Congress, all those who marched in Selma, all of the work that the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee did, registering voters in 1964 in Mississippi, getting the Voting Rights Act, and now Donald Trump saying that no, he wants to intimidate people in the polls like it was in the 60s. It seems an improbable thing to be in the 2016 election, but again, he is playing to his base, and he also thinks that the Voting Rights Act itself does not need strengthening. That's consistent with all the other things he said. So it's not a surprise to hear that Donald Trump thinks that the Voting Rights Act is okay as it is, maybe even goes too far, but he doesn't think at all that it needs strengthening. There are really different views on voting rights and civil rights that come out of both of these camps. And we're going to go now to guns and safety. And on the issue of guns and crime, Donald Trump is in a different place, of course, than his opponent. He does not support universal background checks. There was a poll at one point that said between 85 and 94% of the National Rifle Association's membership supported background checks, that it seemed as if that was an easy thing to become involved with. He does not want to close the gun show loophole, which allows people, without going through the same background check process, to buy a gun at a gun show, and he does not want to ban assault weapons. There was, in the late 90s, an assault weapons ban. It was overturned. He does not think that assault weapons should be banned. And if you ask Trump what he wants law and order. He is on the side of police. He does not look at these shootings and say, hey, wait a second, getting less firearms in the hands of the wrong people is the way out. He thinks the police are the way out. Interesting, he said that he talked about the Bataclan killing in France, in Paris, that horrific nightclub shooting. And this is Trump. He said, it's too bad that some of the young people that were killed over the weekend didn't have guns attached to their hip, frankly, where bullets could have flown in the opposite direction. So it's taking on gun violence, but not through getting rid of guns. That's a real difference, a stark difference between Mr. Trump and Secretary Clinton, his opponent. We're going to have more issues. You can look on TYT and see these videos, just trying to make it a little easier for you to understand where each candidate, the Democrat and the Republican, are on the issues as we head to November 8th. Michael Schur, TYT.